Adam Wainwright's pitching career is officially over. Today on Locked On Cardinals, we recap that journey to win number 200 that had plenty of bumps and craters in the road, but ended on the highest of highs that left grown men weeping.
You are Locked On Cardinals, your daily St. Louis Cardinals podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey there, Cardinals fans. I'm JD Hafford, and I'm a national radio sports anchor. Born and raised in the Lou and a lifetime Cardinals fan, and I'm your host for Locked On Cardinals, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Follow me on Twitter at JD Sports Radio and the podcast at LO_Cardinals. We want to thank those of you who make Locked On Cardinals your first listen every day. Free and available wherever you get your podcast and available on YouTube. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. That way you can interact with us. Hit the notification button so you know when new episodes are posted. This is a show serving Cardinal Nation and giving the best fans in baseball all of the info about the birds on the bat. Adam Wainwright, the great Adam Wainwright, Uncle Charlie, will not pitch again in the major leagues. That announcement coming down on Tuesday night as the Cardinals prepared to face the first place Milwaukee Brewers. And I, for one, am glad that it ended this way. Last season, you had what may have been a better ending. Like, you had, and I'm going to throw this photo up on the YouTube page right now. You remember this. Waino, Pujols, Yachty walking off the field together during the regular season before the playoffs started. But if you remember in that start, Adam Wainwright wasn't very good. So to end his pitching career like this, the way he's done it this year, might actually be better for him than the way it ended last year. If you remember his last three outings in September of last season, he got clobbered, just like he did most of this year. In that outing against Pittsburgh, he lasted just 4 2/3 innings. He gave up 6 runs on 6 hits, 1 home run, and got saddled with his 12th loss of the season. Yes, it was cool to see this moment right here that you're looking at on YouTube, where the three walk off the field together. The three amigos, three of the greatest Cardinals of all time. But if you're Adam Wainwright, it probably had a sour taste to it because of how bad he had pitched in that particular game and how he had pitched down the stretch. He'd only had one decent outing that whole month when he gave up just 1 run over 5 innings against Milwaukee, which was also his final win of the 2022 season. His next 3 outings were all losses against the Padres, the Dodgers, and then the Pirates. And he didn't pitch very well in any of them. And he was so bad down the stretch that they didn't use him in the playoffs. Jose Quintana ends up getting that first start. Little did we know that the 2022 late season collapse would be a precursor to the worst season of his career here in 2023. Now, nobody thought it would be this ugly this season for Adam or the team. I remind you that up until the month of September last year, Adam Wainwright was 9-9 with an ERA of 3.09. Like, that would be the 7th best ERA in all of baseball this year. He was really, really good last year until September. And then even after his rough September month, he still finished with a respectable 3.71 ERA. That would still be in the top 25 this season. And although we never really like to talk about it, I'm sure there was part of him that felt like at the end of last year, he could retire and be completely content. Everything would have been fine. But on the other side of things, I'm sure there was also that competitive spirit that, Waino's got within. That probably kicked in a little bit. The idea that he was only 5 wins short of that 200, which was such a great plateau to get to. Only 2 other pitchers in Cardinals history had ever gotten there. The chance to play on a playoff caliber team again. I know we laugh now because we know how bad they are this season, but a lot of people picked them to not only win the NL Central, but at least make the wild card. But some of them had them going pretty far. Some people thought it was a team that might get to the World Series. He had the World Baseball Classic, which he had not participated in yet, that he was going to play in finally. And of course, there's the money factor. Okay, let's not ignore that. $17.5 million to come back and pitch one more season. That's the second highest amount of money he's ever made per season as a Major League Baseball player. The highest he's ever made, 19.5, which he made from 2014 to 2018 in his prime. But when the season started, it was very much like the way Adam had pitched in September of 2022. And now he didn't have the shift to help him out. The Cardinals defense took not just a step back, multiple steps back. Like they jogged backwards defensively this year compared to what we're used to over the years, where that elite level of defense that the Cardinals were known for was gone this year. These factors and the decline in Adams' overall stuff and some health issues clearly had an effect on his final season, which when you look at the numbers are frighteningly bad. 5-11, 7.40 ERA. That is not the Adam Wainwright we have all grown up with. And not exactly the way we drew it up in spring training when thinking about how his last season would go down. But by pulling the Billy Chappell move here, our final memories of Adam Wainwright on the mound are going to be pleasant ones. Gone are all of the games that he got bashed this year. Like, I don't really remember many of those. There was a lot of them, by the way. But the images that stick to me now and in my mind are going to be of those final two starts that he had in Baltimore and then at Busch Stadium against Milwaukee. And I had been saying since the beginning of August that if there was one thing that will still get Cardinals fans excited for the last couple months of the season here, when we know that they have traded pieces off, they're not trying to win anymore this year as far as like, win anything significant. Of course, they're trying to win ball games, but they're not going anywhere. The chase for 200 by Adam Wainwright, that was something that would keep people coming back. Every start was must-see TV. And whether you admit it or not, and no matter how bad Wainwright got shelled each outing, you came back to see if this man, this guy who we've all grown up with over the years and have grown to love over the last 2 decades with the organization, we wanted to see if he would be able to muster up just enough for 2 more wins before the season ended. In August, he gets blasted by Colorado, then crushed by the Kansas City Royals, 2 of only 4 teams with worse records than the Cardinals in Major League Baseball. I mean, those were supposed to be a couple of layups, and they ended up being butt whoopings. Next up was a decent start in New York, 3 runs over 6 innings, but the Cardinals offense falters, and they lost 4-2. At Pittsburgh next, another shellacking by the Pirates, but then another very good start against the Padres at Busch, 1 run over 6, but again, bad timing because guess who was on the mound against him? NL Cy Young candidate Blake Snell shuts down the offense. They lose 4-1. At this point, I'm starting to lose faith. We're starting to lose faith as a fan base and coming to the realization that maybe this isn't going to happen. Like, it may not happen because the schedule wasn't going to get any easier for Adam. Moving forward, some tough teams on the schedule. But what followed ended up being 2 of the most exciting games of the season. We'll continue Wainwright's journey to 200 next on Locked On Cardinals. Are you struggling to close deals? Cold outreach is wasting the time of both the buyer and seller at every stage, especially when sellers are using shallow and outdated data. Your organization can overcome these challenges with technology that translate comprehensive, high-quality buyer data into real-time insights. These deeper insights empower sales reps and teams to adopt the habits of top performers, which leads to better outcomes, like more pipeline, higher win rates, and larger deals. We call this deep sales, and we've built the first deep sales platform with the next generation of LinkedIn Sales Navigator. Right now, you can try LinkedIn Sales Navigator and get a 60-day free trial at linkedin.com/lockedon. That's linkedin.com/lockedon for a 60-day free trial. Let LinkedIn Sales Navigator help you sell like a superstar today. Just go to linkedin.com/lockedon to get started. Once again, try LinkedIn Sales Navigator and get a 60-day free trial. 60 days. That's 2 months worth at linkedin.com/lockedon. The Cardinals are in Milwaukee tonight, tomorrow, and Thursday. You can catch every pitch of the Cardinals' hometown broadcast with SiriusXM on the SXM app. Just search Cardinals. Watching the game right now. They're in the eighth inning. Cardinals up 4-1. Michaelis looking good tonight. But you'll be able to catch every pitch of the Cardinals' hometown broadcast with SiriusXM on the SXM app. Just search Cardinals. Again, thank you for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen every day. Sorry for these late releases on the show, but my normal job as a sports anchor, they've had me on a different schedule this week, so I'm doing different times. So I'm pushing them out here as best as we can. And I'm kind of glad this one's coming out late because the news about Adam Wainwright, it's huge. It's huge. And I wanted to use this episode as a chance to reflect on his journey to 200 here in 2023 because it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy at all. Timeline-wise, we're now talking about September, and it's a month that's normally for Cardinals fans designated for playoff runs. We're getting excited about, all right, is this going to be another championship year for the boys? And instead of rally towels and prepping a postseason roster, Adam Wainwright is really the only show in town for the fan base. Like, there's not a whole lot more to get excited about. Sure, we've got prospects. We've got Mason Wynn. We've got Jordan Walker. That's great. But we're not winning anything. There's really nothing to see them accomplish besides, hey, good at bats today. You know what I mean? Like, it's fun to watch these guys get better, but at the same time, season's wrap. So Adam is really the only thing keeping people really, really interested in Cardinal baseball in this final month of September. Most fans had more or less given up on the rest of the team and just wanted to see Waino get to 200. That was it. That was the big draw. The Cardinals end up pushing back his next start when we get to September for extra rest. And looking at the schedule, Adam was set to face not one, not two, but 3 straight first-place teams. Not exactly ideal when, for most of the year, Adam's getting crushed by people. So first up, he goes against the team that drafted him, arguably the best team on the planet in the Atlanta Braves, who ripped 4 home runs off of him and scored 6 total in 5 2/3 innings, lost number 11 on the year. Then the Redbirds hit the road, and they go to Baltimore. Now, the thing that was interesting about this game against Baltimore was the Orioles are a very young, up-and-coming team. Not a whole lot of veterans on there. So it's a team that really hasn't seen Adam Wainwright all that much over their careers. And this ended up being one of the more entertaining ball games of the season. Cardinals jump out to a 3-0 lead, thanks to home runs by Paul Goldschmidt. You're used to that. And then Richie Palacios, who has come out of nowhere to be a real spark plug for this team. I don't know how you keep him off the roster for next year. A guy who got DFA'd by the Guardians, and the Cardinals come in, swoop him up, and he's been outstanding ever since. Waino was solid through 4 innings of this game, but then in the 5th inning, the Orioles, they begin to battle. They get to see Adam a couple more times, and now you start to see that they're figuring him out a little bit. They score 2 in the 5th inning, and then with runners on 2nd and 3rd and 2 out, Waino clinging to the lead, he punches out Adam Frazier and is qualified for win number 199. Now the bullpen has to do their job and get the O's to not score anymore because we don't know how much more offense the Cardinals are going to put out there. The bullpen gets the Orioles to ground into 2 double plays. They grounded into 3 during that game. Palacios goes yard again, and the Cardinals end up beating Baltimore 5-2. A huge win. Felt like a playoff game going on. You had the Orioles, Baltimore crowd, which is a very good one. I love watching that team play in front of their home crowd. Those guys and gals, they do a good job there. But it had that playoff atmosphere feel to it because the Cardinals actually gave a crap about what was going on because they're trying to get Waino to 200. Baltimore's trying to win the AL East at the time. It was awesome. Meaningful baseball being played that included the St. Louis Cardinals. Now we're to a point where Waino just needs one more. He's lined up to start. against the first place Brewers in front of the home crowd at Busch Stadium. Kind of perfect, right? And from the beginning of this game, you could just tell in Waino's face that he, in his eyes, that he was just locked in on this night, man. He had that Chris Carpenter look in his eyes, that focus, that laser focus, that precision with each pitch that he displayed. He was on. He was on. Yeah, the defense behind him just giving 110, 150, 200%. Like they're diving all over the place, like as if he was throwing a no-hitter. You know how you get that extra effort? That's what the defense was doing for him. Every ball, guys are giving it their all, knowing that something very, very big was at stake. Contreras hits that go-ahead home run in the fourth inning to make it 1-0. You love the emotion you see from Willie Contreras, one of many big knocks by him on the season. And although there were moments where things got a little bit anxious in this game, you get a walk or something, and you're like, oh boy, is this where all of it's going to come falling apart? Waino kind of dominated. He really did. And for one night, looked like the guy who finished in the top 3 in the Cy Young voting in 4 different seasons. His final line, 7 innings, 4 hits, 3 strikeouts, 0 runs. 0 runs. There was a magical feel in the air at Busch Stadium that night. And whether you were there or just watching from home, you could sense the energy, the excitement surrounding every single pitch. We were witnessing history. It was a lot of fun. Ryan Helsley, injured most of the year, does something I didn't think we'd ever see him do again this season. May never get to see him do it again. He goes out for a 4-out save, knowing how big this moment was. 4-out save on back-to-back nights, no less. They don't let this guy pitch on back-to-back nights. That's how important this was to the team. This was their game 7, their last chance to do something great this season. And when Edman caught that final pop-up, just pure joy on the field. The reaction from the guys on the field, in the dugout, in the stands. It was kind of fitting that we had to wait until Wainwright emerged from the trainer's room. Like you thought, like the cameras were panning around looking for him, like, where is he? Everybody's shaking hands and excited. Where the hell's Adam Wainwright? He's in the training room. Finally comes out and gets the applause that he deserves. He did it against all odds, despite all the naysayers, in a season where people were begging him to just quit, saying that he should stop embarrassing himself, in a season where it would have been easy to shut it down considering how bad the team was. He's dealing with physical ailments. Mentally, it had to be exhausting knowing how good you've been for so long and you're just a shell of yourself, getting pummeled almost every night. Yet he continued and kept fighting. He asked the fans, he asked his manager, don't give up on me. And in the end, he gave Cardinal Nation and himself a memory that will last a lifetime. The question now was, would he pitch one more time this season? And that was actually answered today. I'll give you the quotes from Ali and Adam next on Locked On Cardinals. Modern medical care and treatment are important, but our global supply chains are fragile. Things like pandemics, we all remember that. Natural disasters going on like right now on the East Coast with another hurricane coming through. Foreign travel. All of these things together could cut you off from the treatment that you need. Jase Medical is your solution. All you got to do is fill out their online form, and one of Jase Medical's board-certified physicians, they're going to, browse through it, make sure everything's cool. All the I's are dotted, T's are crossed. They'll review it, determine whether medications are safe and appropriate for you. Then Jase will send your prescriptions to one of their partner pharmacies, where your order will then be filled and mailed directly to your home. You don't even have to go wait in line to go pick it up. Doesn't that stink too? Like you go to a place to pick up your meds and there's like a big old line on the drive-through window. You're like, oh, well, I'll sneak in. I'll go inside. Then you got to wait in line around everybody else who some people are coughing and sneezing and whatever. It's not enjoyable. So to have it sent to you, that's pretty cool. You can also send your physician a message for answers to treatment-related questions at any time, 24/7 available for you. Everyone should be empowered to care for themselves. This is 2023, man. This ain't the Stone Age. We should be able to care for ourselves when we need it and take care of your loved ones, grandparents, parents, children during the unexpected moments too, not just every other day, like when bad stuff's going on. That's why Jase Medical offers the Jase case. Save more than $360 by getting these life-saving antibiotics with Jase Medical, plus an additional $20 off by using my code Locked On. You can do that at checkout on jasemedical.com. That's JASE medical.com. Cardinals in Milwaukee for 3, and then they're home to face the Reds. And you can catch every pitch of the Cardinals hometown broadcast with SiriusXM on the SXM app. Just search Cardinals. Again, thank you for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen every day. After win 200, the question was, what's next? Should Adam Wainwright shut it down? Should he go out there and pitch again? Or should he go out on a good one? We know the competitor that Adam Wainwright is. We've seen him play for 18 years. So it wouldn't have surprised me if Adam said, "Give me one more go. Give me one more. Let's gear it up for one more go." But in the end, win 200 will be the last time that we see Adam Wainwright throw a pitch as a major league pitcher. It was announced before today's game by manager Ali Marmol that Wainwright will not pitch again this year. Said that Wainwright recently tried throwing a side session and that the pain in his back and his right shoulder ended any chances of one more start at Busch Stadium before the season ended. Ali's quote to John Denton at MLB.com was, "While we were in San Diego, we went out and played catch, and the reality is there's just no way he'd be able to go out there and throw another inning. He gave it every ounce of what was left in that arm in that shutout for number 200. So he genuinely got the movie ending. Like in For the Love of the Game, Billy Chappell put it all out there for one final shining moment, and we'll call it a career. Kind of beautiful. Adam also spoke to Denton about the decision, said, quote, "I've thought about a lot of it the last few days, but I'm in a really good place. Mentally, just no regrets about anything I ever did. No second thoughts on anything, pitching or retiring. I'm at peace with all of it." Denton also reports that Wainwright will likely have some sort of surgeries at some point after the season on his lower back for multiple bulging discs and a cleanup job on his pitching shoulder, but no surgeries currently scheduled at the moment. I don't think we all realized how much discomfort Adam Wainwright has been in. I know we made jokes for a while there that really, is he hurt or does he just need to step away for a little bit because he's getting clobbered out there? He's been injured. Clearly has been injured. So the next question is kind of a fun one. Will he at least get an at-bat before it's all said and done? Because one of the things Adam took great pride in before the universal DH came into play was his hitting ability. The guy won a Silver Slugger in 2016, hit 262, 2 home runs, 11 RBIs, first at bat in the major leagues, home run, one of the very few men to do that. It would be really fitting if he got to take at least one curtain call at home plate as a hitter, tip the helmet to the fans before the year is done. Now, Marmol says that him getting an at-bat in the final weekend series against the Reds is a possibility. And according to Derek Gould at STLtoday.com, it is contingent on whether or not the Reds are still playing for a playoff berth or they are eliminated at some point before or during the weekend. Personally, I'd love to see it. I think it would be great. Whether he whiffs, whether he gets a hit, does not matter. I want to see one more Adam Wainwright smile in a game before the curtain closes on his career. Although, if you remember, Albert Pujols and Yadier Molina each got hits in their last at-bats. How cool would that be if Adam Wainwright got one? That'd be nuts. If he doesn't get it, no big deal, but that would be super cool. We still got T-shirt night. We still got the post-game concert, the guitar, ukulele looking giveaway this weekend. So whether he gets an at-bat or not, you'll still see plenty of Waino this weekend at Busch Stadium. But now that it's all said and done, would you rather, I got a question for you. Would you rather have seen Adam call it quits, walking off the field with Pujols and Yachty last year, or do you prefer him reaching 200 as his final game, throwing 7 shutout innings against the Brewers to achieve it? Personally, I like win number 200. I think it's cherry on top of what has been a brilliant career for Adam Wainwright. But I want to know what you think. Let me know in the comments down below. Once again, be sure to catch every pitch of the Cardinals' hometown broadcast for the series against the Brewers and the upcoming series against the Reds, which began tonight as the Brewers won, but then Reds will be Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And you can do that with SiriusXM on the SXM app. Just search Cardinals. If you haven't already, please give us a follow on Twitter at @LO_Cardinals and at JD Sports Radio. Like and subscribe on YouTube. Help our channel and love for the Cardinals grow. You guys are the best fans in baseball for a reason. I will see you next time on Locked On Cardinals. Thank you, Adam Wainwright.